Hello and welcome to the channel. We're here in the South Downs today. Sun is half out, but basically this baby right here is my personal motorbike, my personal Speedmaster. It's a 2019 model. I've had it now for about 6 months and I've done about 7,000 miles, which is pretty good going. So I've got a lot of experience on it. I know the bike inside out really well. Done some long miles on it, so we're going to go over 5 good points of the bike, and then I'm going to try and squeeze out, find 5 bad points of the bike as well, to give you guys a good feel for the different elements and my views on the Speedmaster. So let's jump straight into the first point, shall we? Please excuse me, the bike is filthy. I gave it a really nice clean this morning, ready for this video for you guys, and it's just been raining all morning and now the sun's just popped its head out, so please do excuse the dirt on the bike. She's usually a lot cleaner than this. But the number one point, good point for me, is the looks of this motorbike. I honestly think, I know it is mine and I'm biased, but I think it's possibly one of the best looking motorbikes you can buy today. Just putting it out there, I just love it. It's got that classic British look to it. To me, it's not that intimidating either. Sometimes with Harleys, you can find them quite sort of intimidating and big and brutish, whereas this Speedmaster is just such a nice size. It's got such a nice sort of lovable look to it and design. It's just endearing. Honestly, everywhere you go on it, people look. They really do, and look and just smile or ask you about the bike. I think the design is just stunning. So a few of my favourite parts on the design. Obviously you've got all of the chrome and the classic cruiser style. I really like the highway screen, sort of quite straight up, very classic old school look to me. It's big and it's got good wind protection. In combination with these beach bar handlebars, I think is sick. I just love the beach bar handlebars. Triumph just did such a good job on that. I think they've completely nailed it. Such a iconic old school look that no one else is doing. I don't think you can buy another bike off the shelf with these same handlebars on, so yeah, it's just got that classic British motorcycle vibe to it. Another thing I love about the looks, and this is true on a lot of almost all Triumph Bonneville, it's the engine and the detailing around the engine, and even though this is not real, parts of it aren't real, it's just there, put it there to make it look old, but the detailing really is so impressive. It looks so stunning. Can be tricky to clean, but as you can see. But yeah, I love the Bonneville setup. Probably I'll say top of the list good point is just the looks of it. I think it's such a stunning motorbike, seriously. Personal opinion, but yeah, it looks mega. Right, we better get on to one bad point now. The first of the bad points in no particular order. I know some of you aren't going to like these bad points, but it's got to be done. It took me a while. I was sitting down with pen and paper trying to think of bad points of poor Speedy here. And actually someone mentioned this in the comments the other day, and I completely agree. It's the plastic around the speedometer here. It's not great. It's like it's just a black sort of scratchy, tacky plastic. This here, the casing for the speedometer, shall we say, if you can hear that, it's a really cheap plastic, which I'm surprised by. Everything else is so nice. Chrome, the paintwork, everything's done so well. And then the thing that you're pretty much looking at the majority of the time, right in front of your eye line, they've gone for a sort of cheap plastic surrounding, which, yeah, it's been annoying. Yeah, so that's the first bad point. It's not the end of the world, to be honest, but you do notice it, actually. You do, like, it's the first thing when you hop on, you look at the Speedo, and you're like, oh, it'd be nice if it was a chrome surround. That would be really nice if Triumph. Chrome surround on the Speedmaster speed dial, please. That would be good. Okay, guys. Back to the good points. Good point number 2 is... let me hop on and show you. I'm sure you can have guessed it. Yeah. The engine and the sound. This 1200cc Bonneville motor is an absolute beauty. of an engine. It does have its downsides, but we'll get onto that in the next point. It's a peach. Let's go for a little ride and have a chat about the motor. So, figures on the 1200cc Bonneville. Peach of a little motor. Well, little, it's big. I've ridden a few Harleys lately actually, so it's actually quite a small engine compared to some of the Harleys, which I find ridiculous. I went into the Harley dealership and we were talking about the Speedmaster, and the dealer just said, oh yeah, it's a lovely little motor that. I just found that quite funny. Anyway, yeah, so what are we talking power-wise? We got about 77, 78 brake horsepower, so it's not a lot of horsepower. But the torque figure's the one where it's at. It's 106 Newton meters of torque, which is a lovely wedge of torque. It's not massive. It's not massive compared to Harleys or even or big new adventure bikes. But on this motor, it's such an endearing thing. It's got such good pull low down, I find. Yeah, I'm going to get carried away here, but it's got such good pull low down. It's plenty quick enough. Like on the motorway, 70 mile an hour, no problem. It's really not a problem. And now I'm cruising along at 30, 35 in third gear, just bobbing along. It's such a sweet motor. And when it opens up a bit, it's got power, it's got speed. It's quite actually can be quite linear at times. So yeah, it's blimey. God, watch out for the tractor. Yeah, it's such a good motor. It's a really, really strong point of this bike. It goes with the character of the bike, the look of the bike. It's a really endearing motor, I find. I mean, it's not like small. It's got plenty of power, and there's plenty there, and it's throaty and meaty, but it's not scary at all. It's not going to rip your face off or shred up that back tyre. It's a classy British motor, you know. It is. It's like a gentleman's motor, along with the looks and everything. It's a sort of gentleman's bike, which is just a massive appeal to it. It's such a sweet bike. The motor's good, so that's a good point too. But if we lead into bad point number 2, I'll show you in a sec. Alright guys, I'm going to try and demonstrate this, getting up to a 50 here. Bad point number 2 is we're on the motor again. Sounds weird, but it's the top end of the motor. Let me just demonstrate it. Let's get a bit of room with that Land Rover. So we're in second gear, 25. If I throttle down, lovely, 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 dead. And then you're fine when you're into your next gear, but I'll go again in 3. It's not that big of a problem, but all it is up in those higher revs. When it goes out of the power band, it's just boff. There's nothing there. Like, it just dies. All of the power, everything just comes off. But I suppose that's what these torquey engines are like. It's what these cruisers are like. All of the power's low down and mid-range, which is lovely. For cruising around, so why is it annoying? Basically, it's if you actually want to go quick and hound it a bit, it does get frustrating, that top end where you lose that power dip, because you just can't, there's nothing there, you just can't chase it. Like if you're coming out of a corner and you try and gun it in second gear, you'll just hit that null and you'll just get nothing back once you're out of the torque power band. Yeah, that's bad point number 2. Sorry Speedy, I'm feeling bad for her. It's not really that bad, I love you. Okay guys, on to another good point. Bit of a change of scenery. Nice bit of woods here. Speedy fits in well. So, the next good point, number 3, I think we're on. Yeah, number 3. And this is a really important one for me. It's really impressive, this. It's the comfort of the bike. Before I go into it, my bike came with the standard seat. And I did do quite a lot of touring on it, but it was a little bit uncomfy, the standard seat. So on this I've got the comfort seat from Triumph, and it is so comfortable. It may vary if you're a different build. I'm 5'9". I'm pretty small, I'm pretty slight, I'm sort of 10 3/4, 11 stone, but it's just we get it up. The moulding of the seat, and I rode a Harley the other day. I've always liked the idea of the forward pegs and the handlebars sort of high up and coming back. I was actually I felt quite stretched on it, and my lower back was a little bit aching a bit, and it made me appreciate how comfortable this bike is. Seriously, the seating position on this is just like, it's perfect for riding a motorbike. You've sort of got your mid to forward pegs, but the handlebars, just your arms, if you can see, are just right there. You're not stretching out, it's not back, it's not up. Perfectly to your sort of fingertips here. Nice straight back, because you're not leaning forwards, you're not leaning backwards, it's just an upright, really sort of sensible riding position. You know, I could just sit in it. I could sit in it all day, no problem at all. Okay, it's that time again, the naughty list. I've got to say this, we're on bad point number 3, and it's annoying. I had the same problem with my Scrambler 900, the street Scrambler. I used to have exactly the same problem. Now, a lot of this, what's happened here, is my fault. I shouldn't have done it. In general, and I hate to say it, the wear and tear of the metal components of the chrome and the brushed aluminium is not that great. It doesn't stand up to the elements that well. The front forks, for instance, I'll show you, and the rear forks, they are already getting a little bit of rust on them. Brushed aluminium engine casing, this is my fault to be fair, but I washed it with an acidic soap and it's just completely tarnished the casing there. That is a downside, and it's the same with all of these components here. They've all been tarnished with that acidic soap, and that's my fault. I shouldn't have done it. The wheels are starting to rust as well, so that is a downside, which is really annoying because it's such a beautiful bike. It is better than my Triumph Street Scrambler was, 900, about, well, how long ago, 5-6 years ago, but it's still not ideal. It still does corrode a bit, but, and to be fair, it's not built really for what I use it for. I do a lot of touring. We're in like a muddy woods right now, so I get a lot of dirt and crud and salt on the components, which is probably not ideal, but still they do rust a bit, and I do take very good care of it. So just to show you on the rim here on the chrome, it's probably really hard to see because it's so dirty from all of this mud, but yeah, there's rusting and pitting all the way around the inside of the rim, and I've actually ACF 50'd this professionally twice, and it's still happening. So yeah, it's a little bit of a shame. So leave that lovely little parking spot. Coming on to another good point. Good point number 4 is the handling of the bike. Now, it's a cruiser style motorbike, so you may assume that the handling's not that great, maybe a bit sluggish, and don't get me wrong, it's not a sports bike, you're not going to get your knee down, but having ridden a couple of Harley Davidsons recently and then spent more time on the Speedmaster, get to appreciate how good the handling on this bike is, you know. It's really fun. Like, it's not a sporty ride, but given the weight of it being 260 kilograms wet, God, it's beautiful along here, this stretch of road, which is not a light bike, considerably lighter than, you know, big Harleys, but still 260 kilograms, that's not a light bike. In the combo with the engine as well, that lovely thrubby characterful 1200 Bonneville, it's really manoeuvrable. She's a nippy little girl, let's say that. You can hustle her a bit, you know. It's like you get in that power band, in the torque power band, and just roll on the throttle, hear those Vance and Hines exhaust burble away, and there's a lovely bit of power there, and you can. She's quite small. If you sit on a Harley, Sport Glide, a Slim, a Fat Bob, whatever, and then sit on a Speedmaster, she's such a good, capable size. I would actually even recommend it. Yeah, it's quite price-wise quite expensive, but as a first bike, it would be all right. She's really capable, and it's a great size, which I think, blabbing on, we're losing the point here, which contributes to the handling basically. So you've got 47mm Showa forks at the front and a monoshock RSU at the rear, so nothing incredibly fancy, but she dips in really nicely, and once you pick your point around the corner, you take the corner, and then she's flickable. You can flick her side to side with the beach bar handlebars as well, so that's a really, really big good point of the Speedmaster, is the handling. Just a quick one on the handling. I really like, it's sort of that counter steering, isn't it? So if you want to turn, you push on the steering wheel, the steering wheel? Handlebars in the opposite direction. Where am I going? Down here. In the opposite direction. But I like, if you can see this, right on the end of the handlebars, I put my sort of, what's it called? Not the ball of your hand, but that bit. I put that right on the end. I just love resting both of my hands like that on the handlebars. And you've got so much control. Just a tiny little push either way and she dips in. So yeah, really, really pleasurable just cruising and hitting some twisties on her. On to another bad point. What's this? Number 4. Bad point number 4. And it can be rectified because you can go, what is it? The aftermarket. You can find lots of other different options to replace it. But I find I do a lot of touring. It's fine for short day trips or maybe like a weekend trip, but for a week's trip or a long trip, it is a bit of a downside to the Speedmaster, and it is the storage. So these bags here, these are come with the bike as an optional extra. One either side, which is good. It gives you, with both these bags on, you get 27.6 litres capacity. So what's that, 13.5 in each bag, which is not a lot of room, especially when I've got camera equipment, overnight bags. I've also got tents, sleeping bags, camping equipment. It's quite a lot of stuff to pack on, and Speedy does feel the pressure, so I end up having to strap things on the back seat and lash it down and all sorts. And I've got a nice tank bag actually, which I really like. That helps a lot. But yeah, that is a bit of a downside. I'll show you inside them now so you get an idea for the space. So like I say, you get one either side on the Speedmaster, which is great. On some other Bonnevilles you only get one, like on the Scrambler you can only fit one on the left hand side because it's a high rising exhaust, so you can only fit the one. But yeah, I've only got one on today, but if I show you inside, it's a really nice bit of quality bag. I mean, they're really, really nice on that side. It's just the room. Flick it open, excuse my stuff inside, but if I get that out, I've just got some rain stuff there. So you can see in there, if you can make it out, it's not big at all. So yeah, that's a bit of a downside. Coming on to our last 2 points, number 5. So the good point, number 5. It took me a while to think of this. There were loads of options I had, but I actually went with this as number 5. It's a bit of a random one, but having ridden the Harley Davidson Sport Glide the other day, and then being told by a few people and knowing about it, that actually Harleys, they have really heavy clutches and gear levers, which I genuinely it is quite characterful. I see what they're doing. It makes it like a very mechanical, more of an experience. But I actually found the clutch, whether it's where I'm really weak, I found the clutch really quite heavy on the Harley. It is nice, but when you're just cruising, I like to just pull in the clutch and flick up. The same with the gear lever, just flick it up really nice and easy. So that's actually number 5 on the Speedmaster, is the lightness of the clutch and the gear lever. It's just so light and nice, which I think in contrast with the big sort of the big twin and the cruisy thubbing away torque, to just sort of cruise along, which is the whole point, and be nice and relaxed, and then just really lightly, and it's nice. It makes a nice noise when you change gear, but it's still really light. So you're just cruising, pull in the clutch, really light, gear up, gear down. It's just no effort whatsoever to change gear and pull the clutch in, which I think is really important for the cruising mindset when you're trying to relax. So if I can attempt to demonstrate it, the clutch is so nice and light. Literally, that's requiring, I can just about do it with one finger. Pull in the clutch, which is lovely, and then the gear lever at the same time as the light clutch. It's just such a nice combination of feelings along with that throbbing torque of the engine. I really like that. Okay guys, so I feel a bit bad finishing on a bad point. Not a good way to go out, but it's got to be done, trying to give a balanced review. And number 5, which is a bit of a bugbearer of mine about just most motorbikes I've ever ridden anyway, or whether it's just my bad luck. And I can't figure out, please let me know in the comments if there's like a solution, a long-term solution to this. Number 5 bad point, and this probably happens with lots of bikes. The wing mirror. There's probably a really easy solution to fixing this, but because of the where I keep my bike and being in London, I'm in traffic a lot, so I actually pull the wing mirrors in to get through traffic, and I have to do it every time I get it out of where I keep it. And it's just, the right one is absolutely fine, never had any problems. The left one, just the whole time is going loose. And it's actually happened on the motorway a couple of times as well, and it's just come loose and started flapping, which is really not ideal. I'll show you a bit more how I mend it. Right, so everywhere I go now, I have to carry, in my trusty Halfords bag, which comes everywhere with me, I have to carry this Allen key, star-headed Allen key, just in case my bloody wing mirror goes loose, so I can tighten it up wherever I go, and it always happens. I'll show you how I tighten it. So this is it, obviously flapping around. I've got my key here. Underneath here, where my finger is, there's a bolt which you can just tighten up, and it's fine. I slot the Allen key in, give it a tighten, and it's absolutely solid there. But all it takes is, well, a bit more than that, a little bit of a push when you bring it in, and it just loosens it up again. It's really annoying. I know it's stupid, but yeah. So I hope I got through some good points and some relatively unsavoury, shall we say, bad points. But yeah, this is obviously a bit of a biased review. I've tried to be as objective and honest about the good and bad points as I can from an owner's point of view. I've done 7,000 miles over the past 6 months on this here Speedy, my baby, my bike, which I love. So I know a lot about it. I know its intricacies and the problems and good points. So I hope that's given you a balanced sort of view of what it is, if whether you're thinking of getting a Speedmaster or you're just interested to know about it. Anyway, yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do subscribe. It massively helps out the channel as I'm hoping to grow. And yeah, see you in the next one. Till next time, ciao bella.